Blog Talk Radio. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard. Hi, everyone. This is Natalie Jean. It's Natalie Jean. Yes, it's Chatting with Nat. And today we have singer-songwriter Heather Harvin. Heather Harvin is a singer-songwriter currently based in LA. She has performed on Hallmark's Hollywood Holiday Parade and was a regular performer at Universal City Walk. Heather has performed with Broadway's own Kristin Chenoweth at the Hollywood Bowl. Born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, Heather was trained at Washington National Opera and New York University. Moving to Los Angeles, she joined the supergroup 23 minutes or 23 seconds, and has branched off to pursue solo endeavors. Last June, Heather released her first visual album and EP, Back and Forth, which is now available on YouTube. Let's give her a round welcome of applause.
Thank you so much. Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. I mean, this weather is beautiful. We're going through a heat wave right now, but I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Still alive.
That's all we can ask for.
The past 6 years. It's crazy. How have you been during the pandemic?
I'm like, where do I begin? I think right now I'm doing good. I think it's been seasonal for me. So, I mean, I started off kind of a little bit confused. I think we all were kind of confused at the beginning of the pandemic. And then just this last year and a half, just a lot of emotions and constant back and forth and really trying to adjust and readjust and change and everything. But right now I can say I'm very comfortable and I'm very confident and I'm hopeful for the future.
I like that positive attitude. Everybody should have that. So I ask this question a lot. During the pandemic, oftentimes a lot of the people that I've interviewed have told me that they took some time for self-reflection. As you know, the pandemic opened everybody's minds to many different things. I've talked to families that said, you know what, they cut back their hours of work because they realized they weren't spending enough time with their families. I know one man said, you know what, I finally got to sit down with my son and my wife and sit down and eat dinner, went to my job, and I said, we cut back hours. You know, if you believe in climate change, the animals said, freedom, we can breathe. Nobody was out in the street. So they were like, yes, maybe we can stay in this space because, oh my God, Mother Nature was like, oh my God, I feel so good. I don't have dirt on me. I can do my thing. And a lot of people also had time for self-reflection to decide, especially as artists, you know, the type of artist that we want to be, how we want to create, how we want to be seen. So during that time, did you have time to sit and reflect on how you want to be seen as or perceived as an artist?
I did, actually. Literally everything that you just described, I'm like, oh, that was me. And that still is me. You know, I feel like I'm still kind of really evolving and really coming into my own. But I made the most of my time, I should say that. You know, I was able to actually go back home to Maryland, to Baltimore, and spend 2 months with my family during the pandemic, which was great for me, where I was able to just kind of remember, you know, what life is all about, which, you know, I love how you hinted upon just really spending time with family, you know, just going back to my roots, you know, going back to my home, my stomping grounds. That actually helped just kind of really elevate and just really shift my perspective about who I wanted to be as an artist in many ways. And I was also able to just kind of, give myself a makeover, but just kind of figure out, okay, this is how I want to be portrayed, this is how I want to be seen, this is what I want to look like. Not that I made any drastic changes to my body or anything, but I went from a more polished look to a more, like I said, back to my roots. Now I just wear braids a lot because that's to the African American culture. You know what I mean? Like, that symbolizes a lot. And so that I'm just really becoming just who I am and who I was meant to be. So absolutely.
Fantastic. I love to hear that. Now, during the pandemic, were you able to live stream at all?
Oh my gosh, yes. It's so funny because my friends laugh at me when I say this, but I'm like, the pandemic actually helped my career in many ways. I was able to do many live streams. I was able to do quite a few Zoom performances and pre-recorded performances, lots of podcasts, interviews, such as this one, which I'm so grateful for. Thank you again. I felt like I was just riding on cloud 9.
Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes people feel bad when they said, yeah, they're like, I had a blast. But the thing is, there's so many pros and cons to the pandemic.
Right.
It's really crazy, and it's okay when people say that there were pros, because there were, just like you. I attended webinars, I did podcasts, I did conferences. I learned more about social media than you would want to. I learned about TikTok, music, this, that, platforms for music supervisors. I was on Clubhouse. I did it all, with the live streaming. Yes. Sometimes there were people there. Sometimes there were a few. Sometimes there were many people. Sometimes I was singing to myself. But it helped me to remember myself, because you don't want to stay, stay on and then come out of the pandemic like, what did I write again? You don't want to do that. But yeah, there were opportunities, even if you got a PP loan or a grant or whatever. Sometimes, money came to people last year. You know what I mean? Money came. It's like, sometimes you can, I don't know if you pray or not, but sometimes you can meditate, pray, or whatever, ask for something, and things will come to you in the oddest way. Now, the pandemic was awful because people got sick, people died. A lot of people don't have parents anymore or siblings or whatever. Yeah, it was horrible in that perspective, but it allowed for people to do certain things that they would normally not have had time to do. This is what's interesting about this whole thing.
I completely agree. It's interesting because I actually had quite a few people who were affected by COVID. One of my best friends actually she caught it, and she was extremely sick. And so obviously, yes, in that regard, COVID was terrible, and it was horrible and horrific. And it was also, we had to adjust and adapt because we were in quarantine for over a year. You know what I mean? California just opened up today. But even still, there still are some restrictions, but we had to relearn how to live, and we had to redefine normalcy. So that was definitely challenging. But if anything, COVID really taught me that to use the time that was allotted to us to just go after your dreams. And it was, I discovered new talents that I didn't even realize that I had. I was able to just, pursue dreams that were always at the back burner because, I didn't have the time to do it. I think it really taught me how to make the most of my time and enjoy it.
Amen. No, I hear you. I was so busy. I'm still busy. My head's about to spin off. But we have to look at the good and the bad and really focus on the good. Focus on that bad, your head will spin off. How would you describe? Your head will. Listen. Whoosh. It's crazy not to veer off, but a couple of days ago I posted. I did a screenshot of this thing from CNN, and it was talking about like over 237, 67 mass shootings during the pandemic, and now, this past week there's been a bunch of mass shootings, and it's just sad. It's just sad. You can read a beautiful story and then you go to that crap, and you're just like, and what's sad about it is that when mass shootings happen now, people are just like, oh, it's another thing, and then people get over it. And we need to not be complacent with that stuff anymore because people are dying. People are just and losing, and people are losing their minds at the same time. There, like I said, it's a pandemic. There's bad stuff. People, couldn't stay by themselves, or they lost their job, or they're going through financial crisis, and it's made some people just do some drastic things, which is wrong. So how would you describe your music?
That is a great question. That's so funny. No one has ever asked it before. I would describe, the first word that came to my mind is just transparency. And what I mean by that is I like to write about personal things that have happened in my life. I like to write about things that I know that I've gone through that other women can relate to. So I would describe my music as it's me. It's what I've been through. It's who I am. It's who I see myself down the line. It's Heather, essentially. It's vulnerable. It's transparent. It's honest. I think if I were related to a genre, I would say it's a mixture of like R&B and soul with maybe a little bit of pop infused, but definitely it's heartfelt music for sure.
I like that, heartfelt. So what was the moment, the point, or the something that you were watching where you're like, whoa, I need to get into this music industry. I need to do this thing. This is my saving grace.
Yes. So I've been singing for a very long time, a very, 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 very long time. And so my mom always tells the story where she discovered that I had a passion for music because this is so silly. I would say I was maybe 18 months. So almost 2 years old, and my parents, so they had me, and then they got married after they had me, and so during their wedding, I started singing James Brown, word for word, on key, and my mom, she actually sounds pretty good. I'm like, wait a minute. And then she said she just observed over the next few months, and she said any Disney movie, or actually my favorite movie of all time is What's Love Got to Do with It, the Tina Turner movie with Angela Bassett. I love that movie. And I love it because I love the music. And my mom said when it came out, and I'm 3 or 4 years old at the time, but she was just like, I just would sing the music. I just kept singing. And so, like I said, from an early age, it just was uphill from there. And throughout my tenure in music, I've discovered different genres, and I've been blessed and fortunate to partake in different seminars and different styles, just different genres of music, and it's definitely helped mold me into a musician, which I love. So yes.
Awesome. I'd love to hear stories like that. You're like, you're a prodigy. How did you sing down at a young age? Good for you. There you go. You did that. Listen, that meant the music was in you. You are born with the music. That's fantastic. What would you say? How is your music rebellious, unconventional, or unusual, if any?
Ooh.
Doesn't have to be.
Ooh. Rebellious. Wow. I like. Okay, you said rebellious. Did you say unconventional?
Yeah, and unusual.
Unusual. Well, I would say my music. I would probably say unconventional, or maybe rebellious. And so I actually am more so well known for my Christmas music. I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday. It's the best time of the year, if you ask me. I get all giddy, and so, and I am also I like to identify myself as a spiritual person, and I do identify as with the Christian faith, and so I take that seriously as well. But I'm known for this thing called Trap Christmas.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Hey.
And so, trap music, that's related to, it comes from just the roots of hip hop, and that's a whole other. So obviously Christmas being the time where Christians, we like to reflect on the birth of Jesus. Right. And so just kind of tying the two together. And for me, it's not, I'm not purposely being rebellious, or I'm not trying. It is unconventional for sure. But it's fun. I like singing and rapping about baby Jesus over some trap music and hip hop music. Whether you can take it or leave it, it's successful for me. A lot of people enjoy it. It's so funny because I remember doing a service for a Zoom service this past Christmas. One of my church mates like, oh my gosh, like what's trap music? And she's like, let me Google it. And then she's on Zoom and she's reading it. She's like, yeah, like could you do trap Christmas? And I love it. Like I just want to know where it comes from. And so she literally reads the definition and the history in front of everybody at church. And my pastor's like, oh, I didn't realize. But hey, I make no apologies. My music is clean, whether or not the beats might be clean, whatever. It's all fun and games. Merry Christmas.
How important is it for you to be authentic, real, to be able to speak your truth?
Oh, that is a 1,000%. I cannot be anything other than authentic or real. Like I said, when I write my songs, it's something that I've personally been through. My pain is real. My happiness is real.
Right.
My struggle is real. My life is real. And so if a lot of my friends describe me as I can be very direct and blunt, and it's not me being disrespectful or rude, but it's just me. That's just me being authentic. Like that's just the authenticity behind my character. Authentic and real always. You'll see me at my best. You will see at my worst.
I love that because I'm the same way. Some people say, "Oh, Natalie, she's just lovely. She's so good. She'll give you her shirt off her back. She speaks her truth. Just warning you." She starts
Absolutely.
out. I start out as I'm very soft. But if you bring me to another level, that's on you. I'm always, yes,
I know that's
I always come at people very respectfully, okay? Now, it's not me. If the other person takes it to another level, I'm just saying.
Right. Exactly. See, you get it. You totally get it. It's like, I didn't want to get there, but you took me there, so now I have to be.
Yes, you challenged me, and now I just have to tell you. I just don't like to lie. It's like, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, and I'm blunt because sometimes people need to hear the bluntness. Sometimes when you're like, well, that doesn't work. And sometimes you have to just be direct and say, look,
right,
this is how it is, and I'm not dealing with this crap anymore. So who would you say are your main musical influences?
Oof. Okay. I'm a huge Whitney Houston fan. Oh my gosh. I'm like, how long do we have this interview? I'm like, I can go on and on. I love Whitney Houston. Oh my gosh, like just stylistically and vocally, of course she's a genius. She's a musical genius. But even just, she was beautiful.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever happened in her past and all of that, but when it came to being Whitney Houston, the performer and the star, she was, regal. She was raw too, and so much emotion and power behind her vocals. Hands down, Whitney Houston, and then my second favorite is Celine Dion. I know.
It just hit my note. You hit my note.
I know. Oh my gosh! When she beats her chest, I'm like, you gotta beat your chest. I'm here for it all.
It's interesting. I've spoken to a lot of Canadians, and Canadians will tell me, people don't like her, and I'm like, but she's just phenomenal. And what I love about her is she emotes every emotion you sing.
Yes,
that damn good. She is.
I love she. Amazing.
She's the one that inspired me to do a French album. Because
I would love to hear that.
Yeah, it's on Spotify. It's everywhere. Okay. It's called Leçons d'amour, which is lessons of love. My family's from Haiti, that's why I speak French. But she inspired me. I was like, oh my gosh, one day I got to do an album. Well, and I eventually did it. But I just love her. I love her story. And I loved her story with her husband that departed. The whole thing was beautiful. Now let me ask you about Whitney Houston. I want to get your perspective on this. Do you think, if they, I haven't asked the question. If
I'm like, already.
If they had allowed Whitney Houston to be herself, do you think she would have been alive today?
I do, actually.
Well, I agree with you.
That's a great. I do. I think, and I've actually discovered that probably throughout COVID, even just when it comes to like mental and emotional health, and that's a whole other topic. But once I was finally able to just really be myself, and like I said, kind of pursue things that I had placed on the back burner for whatever reason, I felt whole and I felt complete and I felt invincible. And whether or not adversity was thrown my way, me personally, thrown my way, it was okay. Why? Because I was living in my truth and nothing else mattered, So I think for her, for sure, absolutely, I think she definitely would have had a fair shot, for sure.
I mean, the whole thing is tragic. From her, her marrying Bobby Brown, but she loved him. And then her daughter. I mean, the whole thing, it's messy. And it's tragic. It's tragic because when you look at her performance at the Super Bowl and you listen to her sing the anthem, you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
She's definitely gone too soon. And the tragedy is the day that she died, she had told her mom, this is it. I'm going to get help. And, that was it for her. But she will forever be remembered as one of the true great artists out there.
Absolutely.
What is your writing process like? How do you come about writing a song?
Ooh, you are asking all of the great questions. Yes, I love this. No, this is good. It keeps me on my toes. I can't say. I'm probably unconventional in this way for sure. I don't have the same routine for each song. One time I wrote a song. I was driving, and I saw something, and I was like, oh, I think I was passing the 7-Eleven, and then I was like, oh, I remember at 7-Eleven when I met so and so, you know what I mean? And just kind of took me back, and I'm like, you know what? My next song is going to be about that time when we went to 7-Eleven. But then there are other times where sometimes I have to be more structured, where I have to block off, 6 hours out of my day, and I'm like, okay, this is dedicated to me writing, where I have pages in my journal of just like, okay, topics, and then, you know what I mean, and then this, and it's just very like structured and organized. So for me, I think it depends mostly on what I feel in the moment, or if something happens in my life where I'm like, I have to write about this, then, I need to just set time aside to just 6 hours and just kind of song. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I know with one of my albums, I was just like, okay, I needed one more song, and I was just like, I went for a walk. It was bugging.
Yes.
I walked by this this bus stop, and I saw a map. And I said, there's the song, and I wrote a song about, which included the word map in it, like get a map, get a clue. And that's how that happened. But I love when you go for a walk or you're walking by something and you're just like, that would be a great song. I mean, a lot of the time, I talk to a lot of people and I always tell them, but my greatest place for songs that I cannot retain is in the shower. My God, I don't know what it is. It's the water, and I always say this. It's got to be the water. I can come up with the best songs and the best melodies.
You just have to start recording yourself in the shower. Audio record, of course, not video. If you want to do video.
I'm trying to create a gadget. I need to find somebody at MIT to create a gadget that's waterproof, that you can just you don't hear the sound of the water. You can just record yourself while you're in the shower. It's gonna get done. One of these days.
It's crazy because. Do you do you feel like you sound your best in the shower?
Yes.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
It's the acoustics. Yeah. You know what it is? Another person, like, you're so comfortable, you're so at ease. So things just naturally out of you, which I never thought about it, but it's very, very true. It's very, very true. So you sent us your song, Give Me. What is that about?
Yes. Okay, yes. So this is actually a new song. It hasn't been officially released, but, you know, I wanted to share it with you all today. So this is a real song. This is me at 2 a.m. I literally could not sleep, and it was just heavy on my heart. There was someone that, I mean, most of my songs, I talk about how someone, but this is a song where I'm like, well, actually, no, like, I hurt you, and I miss you, and I'm sorry. Like, can you give me another try? I can't. It's 2 a.m. and I'm wide awake, and I know I made a big mistake. I want to let it go, but I'm still trying to just downplay everything that happened. You know, like, I need to take ownership. You know, can you give me one more try, because I'm crying right now because I miss you and I'm sorry. Which is very very vulnerable for me and very different for me, because I can't. You know, I like to say that I am a humble person, but when it comes to relationships, I may not be the first person to apologize, but so for me to really put myself out there in this light of being the person to just say, yeah, like, actually the reason why we're not together anymore is because of me. That's a milestone for sure.
I love it. All right, we're going to play it now, but we'll have a word from our sponsor.
Hi, it's Jordan and Madison, and we're Jay Madison out of Nashville, Tennessee. We'd love to tell you about B Squared Management, artist services by artists for artists. Get your press, branding, single release, and sync success plan now at bsquaredmgmt.com. And listen up to our latest single, Down, now on Spotify.
Try
the best songs come out of vulnerability.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for showcasing it. Wow. Ooh, wow.
Beautiful voice. I'm sure.
Thank
It's a
you.
hit. It's a hit.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, why did you move from Baltimore, around my neck of the woods? Well, it's 45 minutes away from me, to LA?
Ooh, I wanted to. Well, two reasons. One reason was because I knew that if I really wanted my dreams to come true, I mean, it's not going to happen in Baltimore. You know, it's just not. It's not happening. So, and I was a go-getter. I'm a hustler. And I'm like 18. It's time to graduate. Thank you, high school. I appreciate you. It's time to move on to the next, you know. I just really, really, really wanted to pursue my dreams, and I wanted to have a fresh start as well. At the time, I was going through some things emotionally where I'm like, I think a new change of scenery will be good. But mainly it was because my dreams needed to come true, and LA was the place to be, whether it was 3,000 miles away or not. And I have no family out here. But you know what? That's fine because we're going to make it work. And, yeah.
And voila!
Now we're here.
And how has LA treated you in regards to the music industry?
So I was fortunate. I went to college, and the college that I went to, that's actually part of the group. They formed a group, the 2300 group. And I'm extremely blessed and fortunate that people who was in charge of the school, they had a lot of connections and resources. I mean, luckily my school was across the street from Capitol Records, so I was constantly performing in front of, executives, and like I said, I was able to do the Hollywood Holiday Parade and just different things. Performing at Kristin Chenoweth, the Hollywood Bowl. I was very, very, very fortunate for sure from college, and then even after college, because the group we tried, and then just with all groups, it's hard with personalities, but we actually were really building a name for ourselves within the Hollywood, Los Angeles area, and then I decided to join another group, which was different. It was different, and we were able to get that residency at City Walk, and so I think early on it was nice, and then once I decided to go solo, that's when things shifted, and it was scary for me, and I kind of had to start. I had to start over, and for a while I thought like, well, wow, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm getting older. When am I really going to have my break? I was. At one point, like I said, I was at the Hollywood Bowl, and I was at City Walk, and, doing this and doing that and traveling and performing all over. And now it seems like things have kind of come to a stop. But honestly, like I said, I thank God for the pandemic because it allowed me to just really put myself out there and rebrand and redefine myself. I have had an amazing experience for when it comes to my music throughout the pandemic. It gave me the confidence that I needed. It did. I'm excited to see what the future holds.
What do you mean you're not a spring chicken? You're talking to somebody that's close to 100 here.
I'm in my 30s, so in the industry, they consider. I mean, I'm not 15 or 16 anymore, so yeah. You're still
the spring chicken to me. No, I get what you're saying in the industry. I get what you're saying in the industry, but we have to poo-poo on that crap that the industry is trying to lay on women specifically about you can't be a certain age and be a star. We gotta shove that under the bridge because we can be a star at any age. We don't have time for that mess. There was an artist, somebody told me this many years ago, an artist that was 50 years old decided to release a song and it became a hit because the people loved the song so much. I think people are steering away from that whole, you got to be a certain age, you got to be a certain look thing, because people are craving the authentic real. That's what they want. They're tired.
Yes.
Yes, great, blah, blah, blah. They put on great music, but they all sound like. But they crave some things that they can relate to. A lot of these artists, you can't relate to them. You just can't. I was having this discussion with somebody about, and I always say the beehives, bayhives, whatever, the Beyonce fans will kill me for this. I really don't care. But when they got mad that Adele beat her out for the, what was it, Lemonade, and I tell them why. It's because Beyonce sings at you and Adele sings to you. Like, I get nothing from Beyonce. I just think she's a great performer. She puts on a great show. She can sing.
Yeah.
Adele's more relatable in the sense that she's telling you, I just went through this breakup. I can't deal with it. She's just that kind of girl you want to hang out with. Beyonce's not that relatable. I don't feel like I could just, call Beyonce on the phone and say, girl, let me tell you what happened. No. Based on the way she presents herself. And that I believe that's what Adele won that year. And, the person was like, I never thought about it that way. I said, yeah, let me give you a different perspective here. Let me ask you a question. This is more about a female empowerment thing. So, did you watch the Grammys?
I did.
Okay. Now, there was an uproar because of Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B's performance. What were your thoughts?
Yes. So when they performed, what was it? She did Up and then she did WAP. Yes. It's so funny because I actually like both of those songs. Just being honest. I played both of those songs. I think, I like them both for different reasons. I'm actually a really big Megan Thee Stallion fan, and I do like Cardi B. I think I actually wish, you know what? I'm going to be honest, I actually wanted more. I wish they kind of would have, done more throughout their performance. I thought the performance, it was missing. For me, it was missing something. I'm like, I actually wanted more. I'm like, I was waiting. I don't know whether it's you have tongues flying out of the ceiling or, you know what I mean? It just kind of, for me, it was anticlimactic for me, which I was kind of shocked. But that's just my personal opinion. I know people thought it was overly sexual and it was just that and the third. I actually thought it could use a little bit more of, I don't know if it would be, I wouldn't say more sex, but I would probably say maybe more. And there's a way where you can spin it to where you can uplift women and kind of get more women involved. I think it just needed more of something for me.
See, I didn't even get into the conversations. People were having arguments until this last one where somebody shoved me in the conversation. And I had to try to explain it because a lot of people were upset. They're like, they were calling them names. And I'm not a huge fan of Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. I'll just put that right up front. However, I was just like, why are you getting upset with them? If you're upset, call the Academy. They're the ones that asked them to perform. And the video, if you know anything about them, this is what they do. And the video's been out for the longest time. So
right.
Don't bash them. You don't like the genre, that's your problem. But if you have a problem, then you go to the Academy and you say something. It's just as simple as that. I'm glad I got your perspective. What do you love most about being an artist?
I love connecting with people. So I actually really, and I do miss this, I like live performing because it's so intimate, and I'm one of those people where I will stop in the middle of my song and I'll look at somebody and I'll have a full conversation with them. I just love connecting with people and feeding off of people's energies. I also love when I like looking out and seeing people singing the lyrics to my song and feeling it. Just being able to just emote and people feel that emotion. That is so gratifying. I'm like, that's all I need. That's literally, I'm like, it's the only thing I want in life, just for people to be able to just connect through my lyrics and through my music. I love that.
I love that. And a lot of artists that I've spoken to feel the same way. It's about the connection, about, how we can make the audience feel, our fans feel. It is an awesome, awesome moment. What is What is one thing you wish you had learned before you entered into the music business?
Wow. I'm just, these are some great questions, girl. I'm like, sheesh, you got me over here sweating. It's good. It's great. I love it. Keep them coming. One thing. Wow. You know what? I think what I really wish. So actually, when I moved to Los Angeles, and like I said, I was 18, and it is Los Angeles is very different from Baltimore, that's for sure. It was a culture shock for me, and being surrounded. And I went to a school where a lot of people were active in the industry, and so I was exposed to a lot of things. I had a lot of firsts, like, just to be honest, I witnessed, people doing drugs for the first time, like hardcore drugs. I've seen, like, domestic abuse firsthand, where I'm like, okay, like right next to me. I've seen just so many things that I have, and I wish, I think I wish I would have, I mean, people talk about how crazy the industry is, but you really don't know until you're actually in it. So I think I just wish I would have maybe prepared myself to just, like, I should have just taken it more seriously, because growing up, I'm like, like where you see in the news, so-and-so died from an overdose, or, this scandal, that scandal. Oh, okay, yeah, that happens. But I never really took it to heart, and I didn't understand the severity or the seriousness, of that this actually does happen on a regular basis in the industry. So, yeah, I think I could have prepared myself better to just really handle what I would be exposed to easier. It was, I've seen a lot, and it definitely, it rocked my world for a while. So, yeah, that was rough.
Good answer. And what advice would you give to somebody that was trying to break into the music business?
My advice would be, I say this all the time, never settle. So if you feel the urge to compromise, if you feel the urge to change who you are, change your sound, your music, because you think it'll get you in the door faster or quicker, it's not worth it, because it will come back to bite you in the butt. But also, it's damaging to who you are as a person. It damages your soul. It damages your character. It can damage you down the line. So I would just always, I mentor women, and I always tell them, like, look, if it takes you 5 years longer to break into the industry because you're true to who you are, it's worth it. It's much more gratifying. It's because you don't want to settle, and you don't want to waver and compromise what you believe in, who you believe in, just for 10 minutes of fame, because just know that you can be the it girl for 10 minutes, and then come tomorrow, it's somebody else. And now what? You know what I mean? Like, at least you get to hold on to your respect. At least you get to hold on to your truth. So please don't compromise, don't settle. I have so many friends that regret so many decisions that they've made, and no, please, I beg it, and I.
And what is a quote or a message that you like to live by?
Ooh, I always say never settle and ride the wave. And what I mean by that is, like I just said, never settle. And even, it's funny because I say this when it comes to relationships too. I'm single, and a lot of my girlfriends are single, and I'm like, girl, don't settle. Like, no, don't settle. Like, just, he's coming. The one that's for you, that's on your list of non-negotiables, like, don't settle. But ride the wave in the sense of enjoy life, just, you feel that the wind is blowing you this way, go that way. If it's blowing you the opposite direction, it's okay. Just enjoy life. One of my favorite scriptures is John 10:10, where it says, Jesus says, like, I came to give you life and give you life to the full. Enjoy a full life. Have fun. Don't settle. Do things that you've always wanted to do. You know what I mean? Don't compromise. Explore. Be adventurous. Do it all, because life is way too short. Have fun. Make the most of it.
Amen to that. Amen. 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 Hallelujah. That is so true. So true. Wise words from Heather Harvin. Well, Heather.
Thank you.
It's been an honor to have you on Chatting with Me.
I had so much fun.
I've learned so much from you. I'll be following you. I can't wait. Is your EP out? Yep, it's out last June.
Yes.
Are you working on anything new soon?
So the single that you just heard, Give Me, so we're actually going to do a whole cute little project, and that should be coming this August.
All righty. I can't wait for that in August. August. All right. Thank you so much. It was an honor to have you on Chatting with Nat. I got to know you better. I'm going to follow you, send you some messages. Hey, might be a little stalker.
Yes. No, let's connect more. This was so much fun. I'm like, please, let's have a Zoom where we can have, wine and cocktails, please.
Yeah, let's definitely do that. We'll invite you. Sometimes Sisters in Music does a StreamYard thing where we do that, so we'll invite you to that. And then let's set something up where you can do an IG Live also. We'll get you on.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's set that up. But thank you so much for being on Chatting with Nat, and I hope you have a great week. You
as well. Thank you. Bye.
That was Heather Harvin on Chatting with Nat. Until next time. And you can just Google her and find her. She has a Linktree thing. Everybody has a Linktree thing. It's Heather Harvin. Just find her. You'll be amazed. You'll be rocked. Until next time on Chatting with Nat. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard.